All right, we're going to roll into our post-race press conference here this afternoon following today's Lottery Tennessee 250 here at Nashville Superspeedway in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and we are now joined by our race winner, Justin Allgaier, driver of the number 7 Hellman Chevrolet for Junior Motorsports. Congratulations on that win. That was a little bit of a dominating performance on your end, but tell us a little bit what it felt like from your seat in the car.
Well, I haven't let this guitar go because I've been coming here for a long time and long before even making it to NASCAR and racing the ARCA Series here. And this has been a trophy for me that we've been so close so many times, and just proud of our team. It's no question we've had great race cars here lately. Everybody at Junior Motorsports has done a fantastic job. And yesterday after we got done with practice, I told him, I said, man, if we can qualify decent and we can get some clean air, I think there's no question we can't win this race. And just all day long, to play the things the way we did, to get track position, to be out front. Our team did a great job. We made good adjustments all day. And at the end there, I'll be honest with you, I needed some antacids when we pitted for tires because I thought it was too early, and I didn't know what it was gonna be like. And when we took back off after that restart, my car didn't handle quite as good as I wanted it to in dirty air, and I wasn't getting through the field quite as fast as I thought I would, and so I was pretty disappointed. And I just settled in. Eddie DeHunt did a great job of keeping me calm all day and settled in. And man, about 10 to go, I was expecting a caution. I'm not gonna lie, I was really expecting a caution, and so to not get that felt really good, and just proud of our team. It's always good to get a victory lane, but to get Hellman's back in victory lane, to get Chevrolet back in victory lane, Hendrick Engine Department, there's a lot to be thankful for.
All right, and briefly before we go to questioning, just the trophy here is so unique to the area, being a guitar for Nashville. Just talk about where that ranks in your kind of trophy selection at home.
Well, to be honest with you, I feel bad because I've been carrying this guitar around and I've neglected the other trophy, which is awesome in itself as well. But this guitar, there's something about it that just. I collect guitars, to be honest with you, so I've got a ton of guitars in the house, and this one's obviously a lot more special than the other ones that I've got. But Greg from Off Axis Paint this morning told me, he said, man, I need you to get that trophy today. I need you to get that guitar. And it's been on my bucket list for a long time of trophies. There's a select few trophies that are iconic in this sport, and this is one of them. And Nashville Superspeedway has done such a great job. The whole area. When we lost this racetrack on the schedule a couple of years ago, I was so disappointed because I love coming here and I love the fans that we have here. And when they put it back on the schedule, and to have the fanfare that we've had, and to have the viewers that have come and been a part of this, and all the things that have gone on downtown leading into this race, there's just when the local community is excited about our sport, it makes it even that much sweeter to come and race at a racetrack, and the local community is showing out, and it's been nice to be here, and always cool to win at a racetrack.
All right, sounds good. We're now going to go to questions in the audience. If you have one for Justin, please raise your hand. We're going to get to as many questions as we can, and we'll start over here to our left, and then make our way here in the middle.
Jared Haas with FrontStretch.com. My question for you is, did the heat really affect you while leading at all any point of the race?
To be honest with you, I kept looking up in the grandstands every time we'd come out of turn 4, and the people were packed in up there in the sun. I mean, literally I could see the sun beating down on the fans, and they were up there cheering us on, darn near every lap we come by. Even when it got spread out a little bit, the fans were still engaged in the race, and I just kept thinking about how hot it was probably sitting up there, and my job wasn't too bad sitting where I was at, right? And our team does a great job. We've obviously done a lot of work to try to make sure that the cooling inside the cars is the best we can. Rye helmets, everybody that's a part of cooling, K1 race gear. I mean, everybody that helps us try to work on cooling throughout the course of the year. When you get there and you have a car that's good, and you're not working nearly as hard as maybe if you were struggling with your balance on a course of a day. I felt really good. I know some of the others didn't, and I hope everybody is okay after this. I mean, it was extremely hot, so I hope nobody got too overheated. But from where I was at, it was pretty easy sailing there.
Where would you rank this between, like I said, with all your races that you have? How hot this race has been?
When I got back in traffic a little bit there, and I got to fighting my balance, it was probably ranked towards the top. But when we were out front in clean air, and I was able to get some air drug in the window, it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I mean, obviously it's hot, but it's probably somewhere around the fifth to 10th range for races. So hopefully the fans enjoyed what they saw today and didn't get too hot.
All right, go ahead, Nate.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Following up on that, Justin, when Kyle Larson was in here yesterday, he said he's running his cool suit because of your recommendation. So can you give us the backstory of that a little bit and what suit you're using?
It's interesting. I probably get laughed at a little bit for wearing a cool suit in an Xfinity Series race, right? They're a lot shorter, but over time I've learned, the more refreshed you are at the end of these races, the better you're going to be. And I see a lot of drivers have kind of followed suit. I've talked to Kyle about it pretty extensively. They have a system that they run on the Cup Series that's a little bit different than the one we run in the Xfinity Series. But honestly, if we could fit that system in our car, I'd be running it in my car as well. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I think these races are hard to go, and you get to the end and it's hot, you're exhausted, your heart rate's up, and the fresher you are, the more mentally prepared you are, the better you're going to be. And Kyle's obviously a great race car driver, but if you can take any advantage you can, why wouldn't you? And I think for all of us, just staying cool in these race cars it's going to extend the longevity of our racing careers for sure. And for me, it makes days like today not that bad.
So you don't run like the chilled out, I think is what he uses?
So chill out is the system they do. We had a system already, and so just from a cost standpoint, I've run the chill out quite a bit whenever we do some of the wheel force testing for Chevrolet, and we tested a bunch of different stuff. And that particular system won't fit in the Xfinity Series car, so we haven't put it in the car. But they've done an incredible job. I mean, to be honest with you, the first time I ran it, it got so cold it almost made me get sick. Just the shock of the cold water coming through there. So it's a great tool, and that's the thing, right? As long as you have the right tools, it makes the racing that much easier. And they've obviously done a great job. I mean, they weren't the first, but they've definitely captured what I think is the best product in the market for sure.
And last one, how do you hear about that? Is it word of mouth? Do they pitch you on it, or how does it work?
Word of mouth. To be honest with you, they were in another racing space, and hearsay and people talking about different things, and we tried it out, and it exceeded expectations for sure.
All right, Bob.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. I have two. First off, do you know how to play the guitar at all?
So as a guitar collector, I do not know how to play the guitar. I feel like I should, but I've only collected guitars that are meaningful to me. And so this one's probably not the ideal learning guitar to learn how to play the guitar. But I feel like adding this one to the collection, I need to start taking some lessons because I feel like it's time to maybe master the guitar a little bit.
And, when you have a 6-second lead at times and 3-second leads, I mean, was there any part of you is like, how can I not win this race during it?
Oh, there's a lot of ways you can lose them. I've learned about 99 ways to lose a race, and I was just waiting for a caution at the end. I just felt like something was going to happen, especially when the cars that didn't pit with 60 to go, when they were having to make their green flag pit stops. I expected something to go wrong, somebody to maybe make a mistake trying to come to pit road or whatever it was, but. We got down to about 10 to go, and I really was getting nervous, right? I mean, our car was so good. And I was just trying to manage the pace, right? So whatever, they were giving me gaps to Trevor, and obviously Trevor was pushing as hard as he could. And so I was trying not to overdrive the car, right? But on the same end, if we had a late race caution, I needed to have as fresh a tires as I could to be able to make a run for it. So, car was so good today, and I'm just proud of our team. I mean, we've had great race cars all year, but today was really the stamp on the envelope, I guess, if you will, of how good our program is and how strong our race cars are. And this racetrack for me, I love this racetrack. I've been lucky enough to run good here in pretty much every class of car that I've run here, every team that I've been here with. And it just suits my driving style really, really well, and I love coming here. So, it just culmination of a lot of things together that made the day as good as it was.
All right, go ahead.
Mike Organ from the Tennessean. Kind of building off of that, can you talk a little bit more about Trevor and how concerned you were with the push he made in those last 25 or 30?
Yeah, I mean, Trevor did a great job today. I mean, obviously, knowing Trevor really, really well and knowing that this is home, almost home for him, right? I mean, it's not home, but it's close enough. And I knew he's been trying to get back to that victory lane so bad. And we've been great friends for a long time. And obviously they had their challenges on pit road that put them behind. I knew he was going to be tough to beat if we had to race apples to apples. Along with the 54 and the one, and there was a couple guys that were making some pretty good speed up there. But I felt like for us, once I saw who was behind us and I knew he was pushing hard, then it was okay. How do we try to maintain the gap? And he made some good time up there for a little bit, and I just tried to not cook the tires off of it, and ultimately I think put ourselves in a pretty good position. I think those last 5 or so laps, we were able to kind of pull back out a little bit, and if we'd had a restart, it'd have been tough. It was always going to be tough to manage it, but I felt like I knew he was having to push to try to close that gap, and I felt like we were doing a good job of managing it.
All right, well, Stephen, and then we'll get a mic over to you, Chris, right? You have a question? Okay. Go ahead.
Stephen Toronto, CBS Sports. Justin, with your win today, you gained 2 full spots in the point standings. You're up to third now, 32 points back from the lead. I know we're not quite there yet because we've still got 11 races left in the regular season, but we had a 2-week break before this to kind of separate the first half of the regular season from the second. How actively were you and your race team looking at where you were in the point standings and what more you needed to do in order to put yourself in a position to contend for the regular season championship? I'm
going to be honest with you. At the beginning of the year, we had some pretty dismal races, and I kind of wrote off even getting to that top 3 at one certain point. I just wanted to be in the top 12, to be honest. And we've made a steady run here. We've had some consistency. We've had all these things. But racing is a lot like I made this analogy earlier. But racing is a lot like swimming in a river, right? If you're swimming upstream, you're just kind of maintaining with the current. But if you stop and just kind of relax, you're going to go backwards. And that's how the sport operates. I mean, there wasn't a team or a driver over these last 2 weeks that wasn't fired up, trying to make their program better, trying to get their cars better, trying to work on setups, whatever it was, to be in a better position for when we came here and moving forward. And even being as good as we've been, our team has still worked their guts out to try to get there and be better. And today we did that. And I don't know if we can get to the regular season championship and be the leader. But we're going to give it every effort we got. And I've been lucky enough to win one of those regular season championships. But I'll be honest with you, that was probably the worst playoffs we'd had the year we won the regular season championship. And so for us now, it comes down to, we've done a great job. We know we have cars capable. We know we have a team capable. We need to do a good job for those final 7 races and put ourselves in better position for the playoffs, not just going for that regular season championship. I think sometimes you lose the forest for the trees, and for us it's all about Phoenix at the end of the year and trying to go for that championship. So we got to get there first.
All right. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Chris.
Chris Knight, Catchman, say Justin. So you said that on TV this was probably the most dominant car or best race car you've had in your career. So where will you beg Jason to let you take it next?
Say that last part.
Where will you beg Jason to let you take it next?
I'll be honest with you. After practice yesterday, I wasn't sure if I wanted to take it anywhere. So, honestly, I don't know that there's a spot. The one thing that I will say about our organization right now, there's not a car in our fleet that I don't feel like could put on the performance that we had today. Our cars are so consistent. The bodies, the fab shop at our shop has done an incredible job. The Hendrick engine shop. I mean, there's not a piece of this race car that I look at and go, we couldn't have that same speed with one of our other cars. That being said, obviously it won a race, so you gotta give it some props. But I feel like right now our program is just really, really good. We're doing a great job with the setup. We're doing a great job with fine tuning all the little details when we get into practice, and that's really what this is all about. So I don't know if we'll run this car again until the playoffs, but I'd say it'll probably make an appearance somewhere in the playoffs.
5 of the last 7 races have been won by JRM, and it seems like you guys are pulling away from Gibbs and the other Ford, Stuart Haas Racing and whatnot. So what is the magic that you guys have found over the last month or so?
You want to know what the magic is? Honestly, consistency. Our race team, I mean, literally from 2021 to 2022, there is literally almost nothing different on our race cars. The biggest difference for us is stop trying to chase, speed here or speed there. Just use the basics. Like I said, the engine shop's been doing a great job, but we've had consistency. We've had solid power, but it's been consistent week in and week out. Our bodies have been consistent week in and week out. We're not trying to play to the flavor of the week, and I think sometimes it's really easy to get caught up in that. But when you have 4 cars that are running as good as we do, and truth be told, we come to the racetrack between all 4 of us not the same. I mean, we come quite a bit different week in and week out, but we have a really good understanding of where each other's at and what each driver wants. And when you have a team that has the cohesiveness like we have right now, it just seems like we're able to come to the racetrack and fire on our late cylinders and not have to try to, be out there with the setups that we're running or try to be, over the limit. We just feel like for us right now, consistency's been the key.
All right, Dustin, go ahead.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Justin, this is the fifth time in the last 6 years that you've won multiple races in this series. For somebody who made the move up to Cup and it didn't work out, and the view at that point was, well, he's going back down, and you've talked, you didn't know what was going to happen with your career. To win multiple races 5 of the last 6 years after what you've gone through, what does that mean?
It means a lot. I mean, obviously when we Cup racing, you can look at the pre and the post, me driving and a lot of the same struggles, right? And it was super disappointing. Do I feel like I could still go to Sunday and get in a good car and go be competitive? Absolutely. But the opportunities of change aren't necessarily always the right opportunities. And I love this series. I love this race team that I'm a part of. For me, Brand Professional Agriculture has been a huge supporter of mine for a number of years, and the Xfinity series fits their brand extremely well. So not only that, we've got a great relationship with Hellmann's and Unilever and all of our partners. For me, it would be really hard to walk away from something that works like it does to go into the unknown of just being another number out there at some certain point. I don't know if I'll ever get another shot at the Cup side. I'm definitely open to it in running some Cup races, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I love where I'm at right now. I got a great team around me, and it's hard to want more than what I got right now.
How do you reconcile that? Because obviously, like you say, you're a competitor, so you want to be at the top level. But there's still a lot that can be done here. So how do you not look too far ahead?
I'll be honest with you. I look at the race car drivers I race against week in and week out in the Xfinity Series. I look at the talent that's coming up through the Truck Series right now. I look at the talent that's in the Cup Series. Right, wrong, or indifferent, there are some overly talented race car drivers on the Cup side that just don't have the right situation. And I'm not saying that it's being even in not a good car. I mean, just especially with the Gen 7 car and the parity that there is in the car, it takes every detail. When you've got the crew chief, when you've got the engineers, and you've got the pit crew, when you've got all these things that just gel together and work, I mean, that's where we're at right now with our race team. Everybody on this race team wants to be there. They want to move forward, and there's some overly talented race car drivers that are going to race tomorrow that they're going to run 30th plus and could easily be in a different situation and be battling for wins. And, I definitely, do I want to go over there and win races? Absolutely. But it's equally as hard to come here and do this and be in this series and be a part of it. And I love the relationships that I have right now. And the walking away from the relationships, whether it be a partner or team members, would be really hard for me at this point. Especially, here, when it's all said and done, I'm not old by any means, but I'm not the youngest driver out here. And I'm more than content. Look, if my racing career ended today, I'm more than content with what God's blessed me with. more than content with it. And there's no race wins, there's no championship, there's no nothing that's gonna make me more proud of my racing career. My family gets to come with me a lot. They're not here today, obviously. My dad's sitting right in front of me. All these things that play into this make this sport for me what it's all about, and I'm happy where I'm at. Yep.
All right. Any final questions for Justin? All right. Congratulations on that win. Thanks for spending a little bit extra time with us, too.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. What you got, Chris? How do I feel about Road America? I feel great about Road America right now. I love that racetrack. It is definitely on the bucket list of racetracks to visit for fans. If you've never been there, it's worth it. And as a driver, it's even better. I love the fact that it's 4 miles long, to be honest with you. And here, it's 4 miles, and if there's a spot to watch a race from, I've watched fans climbing trees to watch that race. So it's a special place, and I'm looking forward to getting back up there. Thank y'all.